If you're a coach or a consultant or agency owner struggling between 3 to 15K per month, then this is literally going to be the most valuable funnel training video that you will watch this year. And I want you to hold me to that promise. Okay, hold me accountable to that promise. Watch until the very last second of this video, because there's so much value in this for people struggling with things like acquisition. And this is like the exact acquisition process which helped one of my clients, Santiago, go from 15K to 30K per month. Okay, doubled his monthly recurring revenue in literally a few weeks, literally 2 to 3 weeks, doubled it, just by being able to understand these concepts and implement these things on a different level than he was before. Okay, by understanding these proven acquisition methods and these systems and these ways of thinking. Okay, this is not just a strategy you just implement. Okay, let me take that back, right? This is a way of life. Okay, acquisition is meant to make your business flourish. It's so unfortunate that people see it as a flaw, and it generally frustrates me when people overcomplicate the acquisition process so much, when in fact it should be a strength. Okay, we all want clients, we all want people coming to us all the time. How do we do that? Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to break down what the funnel looks like all the way to a normal acquisition funnel. We're going to break down a leveraged acquisition funnel and what that looks like. And then we're going to break that down even further, going into things like evolution, psychology, Charles Darwin's theory. A lot of people don't hear that very often in business. But these are all concepts, proven concepts, where you can understand attraction, survival of the fittest, okay, stimuli. You can use all these things as leverage to help you in your client acquisition process. So let's go into that right now. And we're going to look at it at the very roughest draft we possibly can. Okay, what is an acquisition funnel? This is what I define it in. I define it in 3 pillars: attention, trust, and sales. Attention being where the eyeballs are coming in, for example, through organic and paid systems, whichever one. Trust is like the nurturing process, getting people to see you as like an authority figure and just getting to trust you more in your product and service. And if you want more on how to actually build trust and authority by providing value, expertise, social proof, just send me a DM on IG and I'm going to send you a video which I've unlisted because there's crazy amounts of source in that video. Just let me know and I'll send to you. And then sales, which is basically taking someone from A, being at the very start of where they are, to B, being at a closed state, or them being your client essentially. So this is what it looks like in the rough draft. Okay, let's move on to the leveraged acquisition funnel. What does that look like? So this is the leveraged acquisition funnel. Okay, you're going to see a lot of familiar things, and I'm going to explain everything more in depth and even more in depth later on. So we have attention, Instagram, short form IG Reels, the bread and butter of organic. It's the most compact way to get leads. And what you want to be doing with IG Reels, don't want to be going viral. You don't want to be going viral. It's a big mistake I see with a lot of coaches and consultants just trying to blow up from like a certain post or something. You want to build a micro personal brand. You want to be conveying a small message to your ICP directly. Okay, you don't want to be making things to blow up, because that's just going to fuck up your leads. Okay, and it's going to put you in that junk folder. Okay, that's why I like to call it the junk folder. You're going to get a lot of shitty leads. So you want to be focusing on just your ICP. Make IG Reels conveying a message to your target audience. Speak directly to them. And then over time, it will build. Tweets and Twitter is something I find a lot more useful as the business has obviously grown. And obviously, I've gone into different acquisition methods and stuff like that. I've used a lot of Twitter and LinkedIn, but we're not going to talk about those. We're just going to be focusing solely on Meta. So organic and paid systems. Guys, paid systems is literal bread and butter of acquisition. Okay, it's a literal gold mine. What you're doing is you're paying Meta for like eyeballs. You're telling them, I want my content and I want my ad to go to this specific person. How convenient is that? Okay, if you're not using paid ads, you're just selling yourself a bit short, unless you've got a really, really good personal brand. But even then, you should probably still be utilizing paid ads. But paid ads is the bread and butter of acquisition. Okay, it's literally the thing that can scale you from 3K to all the way to flipping like 30K in not even that many weeks. Okay, if you just know what you're doing, you know how to convert, you know what you're doing. your converting mechanism, all those things, paid ads, okay? Building trust, like we said, on nurturing processes. YouTube long form is the best way to build trust because you're building expertise. You're showing people you know what you're talking about. I trust when people watch these videos, they're getting a solution. They're getting a solution to a problem. The reason why is because I know my ICP is struggling with this. They're struggling with client acquisition. What do? Okay, I give them a proven acquisition funnel, a method, something to just follow and get immediate results. And when they see this and they get results from it, which most people do, which watch my content or follow through with me in the DMs, they get results and they say they want to work further on. Okay, I have that trust in me to be able to do these things. Long form content, you want to be solving problems, you want to be breaking limiting beliefs. A lot of people don't think that they can actually jump up 15K in MMR, okay? MRR, sorry. They don't believe they can do that. And when you're showing them it's possible, okay, you're not just saying it's possible, you're proving it's possible, okay? And I'm proving it's possible through this exact funnel, right? The trust is built. They see you as a figure of authority. You're in a position of moral high ground, okay? That's why YouTube is the best place, because you can really sit down and be informative with things. Instagram stories, okay, social proof, and building trust. The psychological reasoning behind this is when people see that something works for someone else, they're going to see themselves in that client, okay? Santiago, 15K, 3K to 30K per month in a few weeks. People see themselves in that 3K a month person, okay? And they build trust in the fact that they can have the same results, right? That builds trust and authority. Nurturing mechanisms, VSL is a great way to build trust, because that's when you like go more into social proof, show what your product is all about, what you can do for people, the changes you'll make into their life and stuff like that. Sales, I kind of broke it down in a, just bear with me. I broke it down into the beginning and the end, literally, just so it's easier to understand. So this is like the conversion side of things. You have inbound. So from the attention, your inbound system, so your organic and paid ads, and then your conversational flow and your appointments. So what I'm going to show you is how to systemize these things and how to utilize leverage. Okay, that's the most important thing, utilizing leverage. As a CEO, you want to be focusing on doing high priority tasks. You want to be focusing on getting your clients the best results possible. You don't want to be focusing on the small side of the tasks, because that's just going to take up your time. And when your time is taken, then that's less time for the things you should actually be doing. Okay. So the way we're going to show how to utilize leverage for those things is by things like VAs and just like systemizing processes and mechanisms, which I'm going to show you when I break everything down. And then you go into the sales call. Okay. In the sales call, you're going to have a sales rep or someone, or maybe even you go into the sales call and you're just going to close that client, go over any objections they may have, and, state a price, and then hopefully get the close, right? And then you get the client, right? This is where everything changes. When you get your client and when you start getting clients, when this starts finally working, when this acquisition funnel finally starts working, you'll never have a problem again. You'll never have a problem with getting clients again. And once the problem of getting clients goes away, you're now left with time in which you can spend to better your product or service. And a better product or service means better results. And better results mean more social proof. More social proof, in turn, means even more clients, okay? It's a chain. It's a chain effect. It's a ripple effect. So now we're going to go into even more depth on how to understand these things on a deeper level. So this is a proven acquisition funnel of what a 30K a month system would look like, okay? When we're structuring content, when we're doing long form content, when we're doing all these things, all the way to VSLs, hiring VAs even, and also the psychology behind all this. So like understanding stimuli and human drivers, extremely important for acquisition. I don't know why it's not talked about enough. You need to understand evolution to be able to understand acquisition. You need to understand the people you're targeting before you can target them. Okay, you need to understand them on an evolutionary level. So obviously we're optimizing for cash. Okay, this is a system where we're trying to get as many people in as possible, as many people as you can handle, and get these people the best results possible, and how we can systemize that approach. So traffic, attention, inbound, organic, paid systems, outbound VAs, we're going to go with all of that, but let's start with our content growth funnel. So it all starts with organic growth and practical growth. Now, these are obviously, they basically have the same meaning, but by practical growth, what I mean is X and Instagram is something you're going to have to kind of soldier out in a way. And what I mean by that is you kind of need to put a bit of effort into your organic approach and what you do organically, because it's something you can't just hire VAs to do, right? You need to make the content yourself. So it's a lot of practical stuff. And I put X in, obviously, that's just for my personal thing. I use it a lot, but short form, IG, Instagram, YouTube. Now with short form, you're conveying small messages. By small messages, I mean you're solving problems, small problems even, to a bigger problem, okay? And once you have these small breakdowns, you're going to be building trust ever so slowly. And when you build trust, you're going to build interest, okay? You're slowly going to be building interest through your short form, and then that's going to stack attention. When you stack attention and trust, what you're going to do is you're going to need to nurture these people even more, right? And the way you do that is through long form, like we said, long form, BSL, the IG stories showing social proof. So you're going to be solving problems. Solving problems, okay, or solutions to problems essentially means when resistance meets effort. And when those two come together, you have solved a problem, okay? You need to find out what a resistance point is for your ICP. What are they struggling with? What's something that's genuinely like causing pain, okay? And once you can solve that problem for them, what happens? Another problem arises, okay? Now they're interested. Now they will slowly want to work with you, okay? You use social proof in your long form. You need to show people proof of concept, proof that it works, okay? You're not just bullshitting around and showing people, random systems and random funnels and, random hiring processes and random systems. No, you need to show people the thing you're teaching and the results behind it. And once they can see that, even more trust is built, okay? The key thing is, when you're stacking attention, you need to break limiting beliefs. You need to break limiting beliefs. A lot of people see acquisition, believe it or not, as like this problem, like this plague that they can't solve and they can't get around. But once you show people that if you do this and if you do this, immediately, they start seeing results. The limiting beliefs are broken. The perception of reality has been shattered because you've opened up a new lens to them. And this is the thing, right? When I'm showing these videos and when I'm explaining all these concepts, what I'm doing is I've spent literally 1.5 years straight of just test running these things and failing and then getting results. So that 1.5 years, I'm literally giving you my glasses. Like, you're literally seeing what I'm seeing. And when I can do that, the limiting beliefs are broken. I build even more trust. Excuse me. So you're obviously going to be showing lifestyle as well. I show a lot of my lifestyle. So for example, lifestyle, client retreats, which falls into the social proof as well. I'm going to be going Sully in Q1. February with Santiago, I'm going to be in Sully and we're going to just be living life, talking business, getting results, having fun, doing podcasts. And when people see this, even more proof of concept is built, even more social proof is stacked, right? So after you've stacked attention, after you've done everything, we're going to be leveraging a CTA. Okay, CTA, which is a click to action. Wait, I completely forgot what CTA is. CTA meaning call to action, sorry, not click to action. I don't know why my brain was jumbled there. But we have a CTA, and usually what you do for a CTA is it could be as simple as just putting something in the description, or it could be maybe a story sequence on IG. Like if I show you an example here, I did a story sequence, not for the sale, but for a YouTube video, just because this was a nurturing process thing, but you can do this for the sale as well. So, obviously hooker, You tell people a lot of limiting stuff and you break limiting beliefs, and you give people a solution to a problem, and then you give them a link to explain how to do that solution. Okay, and from then on it would be further CTAs and stuff. So after the CTA, after they're interested, they're obviously going to DM you, or they're going to book something in. So you're going to have a conversational flow in the DMs. You're going to have a semi-qualifying process. So are these people fit to be my client, essentially? And you're going to have a VA do this, but we're going to go into this later. And then obviously after the DMs, an appointment is booked, and you're going to have a sales call, and then they're going to show up, and then you close the client. You close the client, and then you go into service delivery. This is what we're optimizing for. Service delivery, client results. That's the main thing we're trying to focus on. This client acquisition process, what we're doing is, we're not trying to, do anything crazy. What we're trying to do is we're trying to lift a boulder off our shoulders, and we're optimizing so that we can focus on the things that matter the most. Okay, so close client, I had my first client closed of the year, 2 days into the year, 2.5K upfront, and insane ROAS on ads, put this exact system in play for him, taught him how to do everything, and I'm going to be bringing him results, and then the cycle repeats itself. So show the social proof from that guy. Okay, everything goes in a loop. Everything is a cycle, but you need to be able to get into the cycle first. You need to be able to build the system first for this to even be possible. Okay, how do we build the system? We look at systemizing. Now, the key way to systemize is once you have the strategy, you need to systemize. The way to systemize, in the shortest way possible is, automation, hiring utilities, and a team network. Okay, you need to have a team frame. You need to have a team behind you to do the low priority tasks for you, because they're important, but not the thing that's on the highest priority scale for you. Okay, so we're going to be hiring 2 to 3 VAs. Okay, and the reason why I say 2 to 3 and not fucking 15, 20, which most people say, is because we want to keep operations lean. Okay, we want to keep costs as low as possible. We're optimizing for cash. We want high profit margins. So we're going to have a lean operation. This keeps the load low, organized company infrastructure, 2 to 3 people that we need to keep on top of, and systemize everything with. Okay, you only need 2 to 3 people to build something big. That's how it is. So 1 appointment setter, 1 closer, 1 client success manager. And I'm going to teach you something called a drag multiplier. When you have a drag multiplier, the reason why I said keep everything as low as possible is a drag multiplier is basically the complexity of your operation. Now, 1 is the lowest it can be. 1 means your operation is lean. Now, let's say we had 2 appointment setters, 2 salespeople, and 2 growth specialists. What does that happen? Our drag multiplier goes up. Okay, we have unnecessary load. So the higher your operation is, the more complex and the more irritating it is, essentially. So you want to keep everything at 1. You want 1 offer. You want 1 guarantee. Okay, you want 1 sales script. You want 1 outreach script. Okay, you want 1 of everything. You want to keep the drag multiplier as low as humanly possible, so you can just follow 1 system and get results from it. You don't want to change everything. You don't want to implement like 3 different offers. It's too much. Focus on 1 offer. Focus on 1 offer. Focus on 1 appointment setter, 1 person doing sales, a remote closer, and 1 growth specialist or a client success manager. Just 1 of everything. We want to keep the drag multiplier low because we're optimizing for cash and sustainability. 1 is plenty, trust me. Unless you're like Iman Ghazi or Charlie Morgan, and you've got like $10 million a year to manage, then obviously you're going to need to hire more, right? But we're talking about people at 3 to 15K who are trying to go to places like 30K a month, right? 2 to 3 VAs, perfectly optimal. Okay, and 1 appointment setter, 1 closer, 1 client success manager. And these people handle low priority tasks allowing you to focus on high leverage tasks, like for example, getting clients best results possible. This excludes the client success manager because they are very important, okay? So if we look at the actual system and the structure behind the VAs, we're gonna see 100 to 300 outputs daily from the appointment setter, people coming in from inbound, DMing from the CTAs, they're gonna be handling that and the conversational flow. And then you can see how that links to the conversational flow and DMs. Appointment setter is gonna handle that. You have one closer, which handles 2 to 15 qualified calls daily, and that's going to go to the appointment and sales. They're going to be in the sales call, and then what's left is the thing you need to focus on, the clients, and prioritize them for results. That is what the client success manager actually focuses on as well. So essentially, they're like you in the system. That's why they're very important. So if we actually look at what these look like more in depth, you can see how a virtual assistant is going to be on base and commission pay. And what this basically means is base is going to be $100 to $1,000 a month. A VA, you can easily outsource doing a low priority work, which is not going to take that long. It's just like simple work. And then obviously for every client that's closed, they're going to get a commission. And this is someone who is able to do consistently long duration work, understands company vision. Okay, that's so important. They have some knowledge about the product too. Okay, they're motivated, they're disciplined, they're hard workers, they're capable of doing simple tasks. Okay, and when you hire these people, it's just, if your personal brand has enough reach and you've built enough trust and you have enough authority in the market, you can actually just use your personal brand or just like online remote job companies like Upwork, very simple stuff. And client success manager is going to be taking a very big portion of some stuff because they're going to be helping you. They're going to be in the back end with you a lot. Okay. So these are specialists. Okay. Maybe being paid anywhere from 0 to 250K per month, depending on where your business is. Okay. They are aligned with the company vision and have very high awareness and understanding of product and service. Okay. They're able to independently manage and guide customers or clients to desired goals and help them solve problems. Okay, they leverage their own assets and services to improve client success, so is able to create their own content assets to help with process systems. So for example, if you're doing info products and you have a client success manager, they can provide their own modules in like the entire program for example, sales, or like an inbound mastery, if that's what they're specialize in. And where you hire these people is very different. These can be previous clients. You can have your previous clients as coaches, and these are people who've gone through the system, they know what's happened, and they've learned everything, and they have proof of concept. They have a fully flowing business, which is systemized with operations. So they can actually help you coach, okay? Probably not full-time, but they can actually help a lot, and you can just hire a previous client as a client success manager and pay them. So, or you can just get these people through personal brands. There's a lot of people in sales. There's a lot of people in acquisition. There's a lot of people on service delivery, or maybe service delivery in terms of e-com. Like whatever it is, you can get anyone. It's not a hard thing to hire people, but hiring the right person is obviously pretty hard. So you can obviously see I invited my team and my friends, and we had like a group meeting, and these are just basically, this is my client success manager in my office right now with a few of my friends who are, one person's in e-com, one person's in crypto, and just going over everything and being able to have a system where you can talk about these people with your vision. You can tell these people, I want this, and they're aligned with you. There's nothing better, literally nothing better. There's no better feeling than being able to organize things with your team and just build something that everyone's proud of, okay? You're not just bringing employees, you're bringing people who have a vision alongside you, who understand what your goals are and are aligned with it. And once you find these sort of people, like my client success manager, one of my best friends too, like the company standards just go up, the sales go up, the vision is solidified. the results become better. Everything improves once you have a good team behind you. You can't just solo everything into oblivion. It's not how it works. So now we've talked about how to utilize a organic system and how to utilize things like systemizing, right? Hiring utilities. Now we're going to look at understanding stimuli in human drivers. This is the most crucial thing. It's so important that you understand, your ICP on an evolutionary level. Now this sounds so weird, right? Understanding, your clients on evolutionary level, how they're instinctively bound to do this or that. You need to understand it. I can't emphasize how crucial this is. These are things which will separate you from your competitors. Who can say that they evolutionarily know this person's going to act like this? And who can say that they've used evolution, Charles Darwin's theory, to make their content in a way where interest is built, trust is built, and they go along the funnel? Who can say that, right? So we're going to go through this together, just understanding basic human principles and how to utilize these things to create the leveraged acquisition funnel. Guys, this is a way of life, right? So we're going to look at human principles. Now, human principles, we're going to look at psychology, and we're going to look at desires and pain specifically, right? Now, I break psychology down to two things: underlying factors and evolution, right? Underlying factors are the underlying psychological forces and conditions that part of the market has. So for example, your niche's underlying factors, or your ICP, for example, if you're in the agency space or the online consulting or coaching space, is going to be they're driven by the word freedom. Everyone starts the agency or online consulting to have freedom, to be able to do whatever they want, to make a lot of money, right? They put 10K a month on a pedestal. This is the underlying factor. Everyone sees this big goal of 10K a month and this as this spiritual big goal, and that's like a similarity. It's an underlying factor, right? And they want to live the lifestyle of their dreams. Now you need to put, you need to know your underlying factors of your ICP like the back of your hand, literally, because these are things which give you the edge psychologically, and you're able to utilize to build interest. And a lot of people say that this is unethical, that are using flaws and insecurities and things that people want against them. I look at it like a doctor, right? Look at a surgeon, for example. What does the surgeon do when a surgeon does surgery? He inflicts temporary pain by doing the surgery for long-term prosperity, for long-term happiness and health, right? Look at cardiovascular surgeons. They do stuff in operations, they have the surgery, they're inflicting temporary pain, which has certain effects and they do this and that. But why do they do it? So you can be happy, so you can be healthy, so your problems are gone. They're solving your problems. And I see it the same way as a doctor does. I don't mind inflicting temporary pain for my client's long-term prosperity, okay? That's a risk I'm willing to take because I want the best possible results for my clients. No questions asked. I want them to be able to have the lifestyle of their dreams, do whatever they want. And that's the risk I'm willing to take in order to be able to get them there. And you also want to look at evolution. When we're talking evolution, we're talking evolutionary instincts of human beings. So what's an evolutionary instinct of a human being? It's to avoid danger, right? It's a survival instinct. Everyone wants to avoid danger, okay? A lot of people sadly look at acquisition as danger. They want to stay away from it. And the negative chain effect behind this is when they're staying away from acquisition, when they're pushing things away and they're pushing the problems away and they're looking and they're siding towards comfort, this thing just becomes a headache in the future, in the long term. You want to avoid this as much as possible, okay? Nothing good comes out of avoiding danger. You need to confront it, okay? And you need to understand your ICP is always avoiding danger, always, okay? You just need to know what the danger is. One type of danger we can talk about is lead gen, right? Lead gen process, sales process. A lot of people are just throwing it out on the side because they don't care about it too much. When you understand dangers and when you understand what people are trying to avoid, that is when you can build the suitable stimuli Now, a stimulus is a change in the environment. And what we mean in this context, what a stimuli is it's a change in the environment, or like a certain something which triggers a certain action in someone, right? A stimuli could be the thumbnail of your YouTube video. It could be the title of your YouTube video. It could be the front cover of your ad, for example. It could be the hook of your VSL, okay? It could be the hook of your VSL. Anything can be a stimulus as long as it causes someone to take a certain action. Now, after you've nailed your stimuli, once you know how to craft the perfect stimulus, you go along in something I like to call the acquisition chain. Now, the acquisition chain is basically this. The top of the funnel, when people come in, they're funneled down. And you see the lower you go, the smaller it gets. And then people are slowly funneled down all the way until they get there, okay? It all starts with a stimulus. Now, the stimulus occurs at this point. Everyone right here, they're all strangers. They're all strangers, okay? Once this stimuli is crafted, these strangers turn into potential, leads, okay? Interest is built, okay? Attention is being sought after. The way to craft the best stimulus possible is by understanding these two things. So now I'm giving you homework, basically. You need to understand what dangers your ICP has. And you need to understand dangers that you're facing also. And you need to understand the underlying factors behind what's driving your market, okay? So I know my ICP is driven by freedom, by putting 10K a month on a pedestal, by wanting to live the lifestyle of the dreams. So a potential stimuli I use, for example, would be using these. Put 10K a month on a pedestal. How to actually achieve 10K a month, literally. How to attain freedom. How do you live the lifestyle of your dreams? These are all stimuli and hooks that I potentially utilize. Maybe I don't say those word for word, but that's exactly how I'm utilizing and crafting stimuli. So we're going to look at what the acquisition chain actually looks like. What does it actually entail? Because we're talking about all these things, but what does it mean, right? This is the acquisition chain, right? It all starts from a stimuli. Now, the stimuli, once someone has that change in environment, okay, which leads them to take action, this chain starts forming, and it goes along until you reach the sale, right? So a stimuli in this case would be a stimulus is shown, they watch the reel or the paid ad, they look at the profile, they watch other content, they give you a follow, interest is built, they see the story, they click CTA, they click the video, they watch the video, they see the social proof, they trust the social proof, they click another CTA to book a meeting, they provide qualifying info, call booked, sales call, and then sale. Okay? Now, you got to understand, right? Every stimuli can become outdated. This is why a lot of people tend to fail if they use the same exact strategy for like 10 years. 10 years of using the exact same thing. If you're talking strategy in terms of human concept and psychology and all those things, a lot of stuff remains the same. Like, for example, sales strategies, you can use the same exact sales strategy, like the straight line persuasion from Jordan Belfort still works to this day, right? It's still very valuable in sales. But a lot of stuff in terms of in an abstract way, like for example with content mechanisms and showing the same thing every single day, people get bored of it. And what this basically does is, this is what the acquisition chain looks like. This is, for example, time, and this is interest on stimuli. What it looks like over time is interest is at the highest it could be, and it slowly starts to drop. And this is something a lot of people are haunted by, and this plagues most people who are in the acquisition space. Is a certain strategy works for like a few weeks, they're getting insane results, getting like maybe 100K a month profit, 100K. But then it slowly starts to go down because things stop working essentially. Now the way to combat this is as simple as just stop copying people. Biggest problem people have is they just copy their competitors. Okay, if you copy people, that's only viable to start. Okay, when you're starting off, copying is perfectly fine. Okay, but when you want to obtain 100K a month months, or you want to get to 30K a month, or you want to even go even higher than that, then you need to cut out copying. I'm not saying you need to reinvent the wheel, but you just need to have your own twist on things. Everyone's company vision is different. Everyone's solution is inherently different, okay? You might get the same result as your competitor, but your way of doing things, your strategy, your way of thinking, your methodology, it's all gonna be different, in a sense, for the most part, right? So what you wanna do is you wanna have small tweaks in strategies and systems, because how this looks, right, is it looks like this, usually. It goes down, it goes up again, it goes down, it goes up again. This is what we call the acquisition plague, right? It's why I like to call the acquisition plague. Now, the reason why it goes back up is because on a long enough time frame, people forget things. Like, for example, when you listen to a song, when you're listening to a song, you listen to it for like 2 weeks. Listen to it for 2 weeks, and then the interest on stimuli drops, right? And then you start listening to it every other day, and then from every other day, it becomes you listen to it every 3 months or whenever it plays in the playlist. But then after a few years, it becomes nostalgic, and then your interest starts going up, and then you start spamming the song again. It's the same exact thing with stimuli, right? So even though the interest of stimuli drop, you can still take advantage of the acquisition plague. A lot of people, what they do is, because they copy, like by the time the stimuli, is even in the wheel of acquisition, they get into the bandwagon right here, and then they're seeing no results. Okay, and then same thing happens. They see someone else use it, and then they end up going on the thing right here. It's the same thing with like meme coin trading, right? You try and get on a coin before it blows up, but by the time you get into it, it's already peaked, and then boom, rug pull. Like, it's the same concept. So you want to be getting on right here. This is why we track data. Now, data and metrics is something we're going to go into a lot further in another video, because it deserves that. It deserves that much, because it's that much of an important topic. If you're not tracking data, if you're not tracking metrics, if you don't have your KPI and everything sorted out on your Polaris star, then nothing is going to, go your favor. Because if you're not using data to track your results, I don't even want to say anything. So what we want to do is we want to get on this point here. And the way we get on this point here is by tracking data and looking at data in terms of time. For example, time and results. Like I said, we'll look into this further, but the easiest way to beat this, the acquisition plague, and not get in at this point, is just by having your own twist on certain strategies. So just by having a twist, you immediately stop the possibility of this happening. Okay? And you break the acquisition plague, and it starts looking more like this. So for example, if this is what it looked like, it would look like this, right? But for you, it would look like this. Because you're tweaking things in the system, okay? You're tweaking things in the strategy. So you're able to maintain this. Your stimuli is constantly, the things you're doing is constantly stimulated, right? Obviously, you still can't escape the loop of the loop of boredom, right? People are always going to get bored of a certain strategy or a certain thing, but ultimately, if you are able to, think by yourself, you're innovating certain strategies in a way, and you're putting your own twist on things, and you have your own stuff in place and your own methodology, you can, for the most part, be safe of things like this. But this doesn't change the fact that you need to put these things into consideration, because humans act a certain way, their brain acts a certain way, okay? And you know, at a certain point, if we had to like scientifically break this down, the reason why this happens in the first place is because of a part of your brain called the RAS, which is like the reticular activating system. So the RAS, what it does is it filters certain information out of the brain. So it filters, sorry for my atrocious handwriting, I'm not good with using mouse. It filters out certain piece of information when your brain doesn't need it anymore, or when your brain has become numb to the sensation. And that is what explains this point right here with the music and everything. So if you know how to manipulate the RAS, or like attune it to certain things by, you know, changing the stimuli, by putting small tweaks into the system, you can escape the acquisition plague. And this is why I say human principles, psychology, underlying factors, and evolution is so important, because you can never escape science. Never. The thing with me is, right, I got into med school, okay? I got into med school, did my A-levels, I got accepted, and when I was doing my A-levels, I learned of exactly these things. And a lot of people tell you these things don't matter, right? These, you know, the things with evolution, with trees, with animals, the way people think, people say it doesn't matter and it's not real. But when you use it to explain certain things like this, it just makes so much more sense. You get so much more results. Guys, if you have any questions on this, just let me know in the DMs. I'm going to be making so much more videos, how to run ads with like 10x fucking, all the way to maybe even 20x ROAS, like insane ad campaigns. I'm going to be doing stuff like that. If you want to, you know, talk more about this stuff, shoot me a DM and just let me know any questions you have. But one thing I will say is, guys, make sure you're rewatching this video at least 2 to 3 times every time you can, because a lot of people, you know, you're probably having the feeling right now, if you did stick to the end of this video, you're probably gonna be like, I don't want to watch this video because, you know, I already learned it, I'm not gonna need it anymore. That's when you forget it. So exactly, you're explaining the things we just went over. The forgetting curve, the stimulus curve, the stimulation curve, right? You forget about those things and then you go back into the same loop that we're talking about with, you know, acquisition, right? Watch this video 2-3 times. If you have any questions, let me know.